Hey guys, so I've never done anything like this before, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just watched Dana Terrace's response to an email that Disney sent her. I don't know if you guys know, but you probably heard that Disney has been donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to this new Florida bill called the Don't Say Gay bill, which is basically telling kids in schools that, hey, you can't acknowledge your queerness at all because we don't believe in it, so you don't believe in it. And I'll put a link in the description about the video because she voices it better than I can. But just watching it, I can see her absolute frustration and just like the dilemma she's having working for this company while also providing some like exposure for kids that queerness does exist and there's nothing to be ashamed of. Now, if you don't know about the bill in Florida, it's basically, it hasn't become a law yet, but it's expected to. But there will be people who will be debating it, but odds are, it hasn't been a good year for anybody. There is a bill in Texas that harms trans children, saying that if parents acknowledge that yes, their kids are trans, they could be arrested for child abuse, and that's just sick. That's terrible. Like, and the fact that Disney has the audacity to send this fake ass email saying, "Oh, well, it's important that we are still diverse and blah blah blah, and we don't hate queer people or whatever." It's just I can't get over this hypocrisy. Why are you like this? It's just this has gone on for like ever. They want it both ways. They want to extort queer people. They want to take our money, but they also want to appeal to the people who hate us. Because Disney is homophobic. It's not just about making money in the foreign market. Let's just acknowledge that. It's not about that. Disney is homophobic. Disney will always be homophobic. You cannot blame them censoring stuff or outright not showing stuff because they want to appeal to a foreign market. That in itself is racist. Don't think like that. And the fact that they have so many people who work for them who are queer, and like we know that Dana probably had to fight a lot for them to even have two girls hold hands like that. Let's acknowledge that for a second. But let's also say that things are just gonna get worse. They're always gonna get worse. But we have people like Dana Terrace. We have people like Rebecca Sugar, who these are queer content creators who aren't gonna back down, who are going to do their best to fight for us. But at the same time, like working for these people, it's got to be tough. I just watching the video, it's just she looks like she's about to break down because like a lot of people, at least now, at least my age, I'm 27, and Dana says this in her video too. It wasn't until her 20s she realized that, oh, I'm not straight or whatever. I didn't come out until that I didn't discover I was non-binary until literally like the end of last year, because after seeing a lot more representation for non-binary people, like for example Double Trouble from She-Ra and also Rain Whispers from the Owl House, ironically, I began to realize that I didn't need to have a gender. I could be just me. And it was because of these cartoons that said this. So they're important. They're really important. And to be on like platforms like Netflix or like Disney, that means something. So when these lawmakers do these things where they tell kids that, you know, you can't say this or you can't say that, they tell teachers that, that is just the first step in like saying that okay, it's like the first step to telling everybody that they can't even show that they exist. Like the Texas bill saying that parents are abusing their trans kids for letting them transition. That absolutely makes no sense. That's attacking trans people simply for existing. It's not going to be long before we just have part two of the Hays Code, where You can't show queer people at all. You can't acknowledge trans people at all. Your show will get canceled. You'll get fined. And who knows? You might even go to prison. And it's just, I'm sick of it. I'm almost 30 years old. I remember when Korosami happened in 2014. I remember that I was in my mom's house. I was watching the episode on my phone, and the moment where they walked into the spirit portal and held hands, I remember absolutely bawling my eyes out. I was crying a lot, and my mom heard me, and she was just like, "What's going on?" It was just like, "I'm crying over this cartoon, and I don't understand why." And then 2 years later, I found out that, hey, I'm gay. And just like, I see all these shows now doing more than that. There's just everyone else's timeline. Kurosami crawled so that everybody else can fly or whatever. Like, that's, we can all agree on that. And I'm just afraid that because of stuff like this being taken by companies like Disney, both wanting to have their cake and eat it too, we're gonna stop seeing stuff like this. Queer kids who are just discovering who they are won't get to see it portrayed correctly, or they'll be told that like, this doesn't matter, they don't exist, it's all a big lie, you're being lied to by these people, and they're gonna grow up even more confused than ever, and they might not even discover that they're queer even in their 20s. They might live and just die hating themselves, and that very thought just makes me want to throw up. I look at Lumity, I look at the Owl House, and I see just amazing things happening in my lifetime. I'm seeing things that I thought I would never see, like, ever. This is just something amazing. It's like a metamorphosis. But also, I have to acknowledge that the company that like helps make this show is terrible, and it doesn't deserve it at all. Dana Terrace doesn't deserve to have this company, to work for this company that says like, "Hey, we know we did it bad, but we don't care. We still pay your bills or whatever." Nobody deserves that. I always hoped that as years progressed, things would get less touch and go. Like, people would be more bold, and then like Disney and other companies would like cave in. They would say, "Okay, we'll stop. We won't be like bullied and fear mongered by these like conservative Christians who like freak out when they see two women holding hands like in the background for 2 seconds." Like, I think that was in Finding Dory. I remember that. I remember that huge like petition that this Christian mom group put up that said like, "Don't see this movie. It's got lesbians in it. It's gonna like." Oh my god. I'm sorry for the background noise. This is the guys outside like cutting down a tree or whatever. But anyway, it's just frustrating. It's just so sad. Like, I was having a bad day and I wasn't doing anything now, but I saw Dana's tweet and I was just like, let's see what this is. Because like, she did respond to it, but she didn't make an entire video to it. She didn't like, it's like the basic, I'll acknowledge it, but like, I'm assuming that she wanted to, but also like, if she says the wrong thing, not only could she be fired, but like, Disney Channel could absolutely refuse to show the rest of the Owl House, and we might never ever get to see it. So that's just like real fear. She is really brave for doing that. She's also going to be having a charity stream on March 13th. I will definitely try to be like donate money to whatever, because I know it's going to be a lot of good charities she's going to get to. I guess my overall point is that I hate to see this. It's like the start of regression, basically. When bills like this, where language being how it is, it seems simple. It seems like it doesn't do a lot of harm, but in the end, it does, because it targets children who are vulnerable. And queer kids are like very vulnerable. Trans kids are vulnerable. Like the suicide rate for them is just like astronomical, and it shouldn't be. We shouldn't have corporations controlling like who we are and what we do and how we discover ourselves. It shouldn't take somebody. It shouldn't take cartoon creators telling us this for us to realize it's wrong. I mean, a lot of people do realize it, but I want the queer kids who, if you watch this, you're not alone. You're never alone. I know it seems like the whole world is against you. Your own parents don't love you. Your own family doesn't want to acknowledge you. But you are real. Your identity is real. What you feel is real, no matter what anybody says. I don't care if it's your teacher, your parents, your pastor, or whatever. What they tell you is not true. You are not a monster. You deserved to be loved and to be acknowledged, to be a part of something great that lets you know that you are loved. And no matter what these politicians do, we will never go away. You will never go away. You will always exist. And there will be people who will fight for you, but you have to fight for yourself too. And the first step is to acknowledge that you exist and that part of you will never go away. If I had a show like The Owl House when I was like 12 or 13, when I was questioning my identity, my sexuality, all that, I don't think I would have gone through half of the things I ever did. I think I probably would have been happier if I got shown a lot more, if I just didn't have to like look for stuff if things weren't queer coded and stuff like that. I mean, it's important obviously, but to have it just out now, just bold and brazen and wonderful, it's kind of bittersweet because it makes me sad that I had to wait until I went through everything to get to this point. But also, I'm glad that kids who were my age questioning stuff, get to see it and get that sense of, not hating themselves. Because I did hate myself for a long time. Sometimes I still do. Sometimes I think that, oh, it's not real and like two genders is bullshit like that. But every day, I believe that people grow to love themselves if they're given a chance, if they are shown that they are capable of loving themselves through the type of media they consume. But when that media decides that they want to fund people who absolutely want to see our entire destruction, it's sad. It's really sad. It makes me worried what's going to happen in the future. It makes me scared that the stuff I do if won't matter, that I won't that everything I went through just will be for nothing, and I hate that. Okay, I've rambled on for too long. I've never done anything like this before. I feel like it's messy, but it's true. Um Disney is just an absolute hypocrite. They're homophobic, they're transphobic. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, this will always be the case. But the difference is this is coming from the higher ups and not the people making the content. It's important to know that difference, that it's not the people making the content, it's the people producing it, it's the people giving the money to the actual legislators who want to bring this bill up into a law. It's them you should be upset with. It's them who you should question. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you such a hypocrite? Like, the man who founded your company has been dead for a long time. You don't have to do this anymore. It's not out of obligation. You're just homophobic. And like, I'm sick of seeing this. Every Pride Month, when I see Disney having rainbow stuff, having like pride pins and stuff like that. I remember this tweet they had where they said, I forgot what it is, but it had like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse, all that, walking along background of a pen that had the pride flag and the trans flag on it. And I was just like, I have never seen anything. I've never seen a company so desperate to take money from people they don't want to acknowledge exist before. And I am so glad that a lot of people are calling them out on this. And I hope every time something like this happens, people will call them out, especially the people who work for them, because that's just the icing on the cake. So okay, I'm done. I'm done ranting. This is like almost 16 minutes long, and it's not even about anything. I just wanted to voice my frustrations. But like stuff like this gets me afraid that like we won't have cartoons like this anymore, and we really need it. We really do. Not just me, not just the older audience, but like a younger one too, because they deserve to be seen and heard. Like I think we've had enough like straight cis people being portrayed. Like it's done. You've had your time in the sun for since the dawn of time. It's time to acknowledge other people exist, no matter how much you hate it. Okay. In other news, I am working on the part 2 of American Dragon Jake Long thing. I've been changing a lot of stuff on it, and that video is going to be at least an hour or something, and there's at least going to be like 2 more parts to it. I don't know when I'm going to have it up, but I'm trying really hard. Please, if you're seeing this and you want to see me rant about stuff, please like, share, subscribe, all that, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.